What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Yes. There we go. Had a button not pressed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of In This Very Ring, right here live on A2D Radio. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am Ritz. Joining me as he does each and every Friday night, it's the Mayor of Toasty Town. This is Butter!
Let's get toasty up in this bitch.
That was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good. All right. We here at In This Very Ring are brought to you by Allen's Travel. Allen's Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you without any stress. Head on over to allenz-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself or Chucks or any of the other talented travel agents at Allen's, and let us start planning your next stress-free magical vacation as early as tonight. Pete Evans will be joining us shortly. He'll be along in just a little bit, but we start on time around here. So,
Do we, though? Do we?
I mean, we tried. Tonight was probably the latest we've ever started. And we were only like a minute 30 late. And even then, like, I didn't have the audio button pressed. We're using new mics. It's okay. It's okay.
It's a learning curve.
Well, so normally this mixer that we use is what we use when we've done our Mission Pro Wrestling shows. We've done WrestleMania last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just now really started using it week to week because the standing microphone was great, but you have to sit all the way up here when now we can be a little bit more relaxed. It's more like we're having a conversation.
I could just pull a Mr. Kennedy right here.
Of course he would do that.
Yeah!
But it's more like we're having a conversation rather than, all right, let me talk all the way up here into the microphone.
Be like, let me talk dirty to you, boys.
Stop it. So let's dive right into our topic of conversation. Obviously, we'll get Pete to weigh in, and I feel like that'll become a long-form conversation when he gets here. But it's brought to you by
I don't think he's going to want to jump on the scale.
At specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Dr. Paul Vidal and his team, 2 locations, Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's our doc. Make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal. Jade Cargill will debut at NXT No Mercy. Agree, disagree. Let me set the stage for you. It's Tuesday morning. ESPN breaks the news that former AEW TBS World Champion Jade Cargill has officially signed with the WWE. This is just days before Becky Lynch will defend the NXT Women's Championship at No Mercy this Saturday, tomorrow night. And then it was shown she was at the Performance Center. She was getting some ring work in, different things. And the internet exploded, by the way. WWE's social exploded with this signing. This is arguably, other than Cody, but Cody was a surprise signing. This is arguably the biggest signing that they have had in years. At least it feels like that, right? It feels like the first shot of now we're going to take your people.
I thought Cody was the first shot.
Yeah, but Cody was kind of like that surprise. We all knew when Cody announced that he had parted ways with AEW. We knew he would find his way back to the WWE.
But we also knew Jade was rolling over too before they even announced it.
I think there's a part of the wrestling community though that honestly expected Jade to re-sign.
Honestly, I expected her just to dip and be done.
No, I didn't. I didn't think she was done. There's too much, and don't get me wrong. I have said horrible things about this woman in the fact that she can't wrestle. Her promos suck, and she proved me wrong. She worked hard. She got better.
I think part of that though had to do with the booking. I mean, she didn't get a chance at any of the bigger women, the bigger title.
Correct.
They kept that damn TBS
TBS.
title. Yes, sorry, I get them confused. They kept that TBS title on her the entire time. Like, why couldn't you have feuded? You didn't have to do title versus title, but shit, give me the women, champ versus the TBS women's champ.
I don't know if that would have worked though.
It could have, even if it was a one-off, Britt versus Jade, or whoever had the title at the time. Tony versus Jade. You could make it work.
And I'm sure, right? If you really tried, you could have made it work. Like there's room for improvement always. But Jade improved, and Jade showed that she was more than just a physically fit, tall, athletic entity. She was really somebody that was going out there, putting in the work to get better in the ring, to get better on the microphone.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, the booking was she was undefeated, but that doesn't work if you're not good enough after a certain point. After a certain point, your undefeated streak means nothing.
Especially when you're squashing 1 to 2 people a night.
Right. But they started out as squashes, obviously. You have to do that to build a streak.
Mm-hmm.
But then she was putting in some legitimate matches. Right? Now, a lot of people are saying that Jade's going to go to the main roster. They're going to put the rocket on her and propel her straight to the top. And I don't know if I agree with that. Mostly because I think Jade would be great. And I'm gonna answer the poll. I say yes. I agree to the poll. I agree that Jade is going to show up at No Mercy. I think it's a great way to test the waters with her on WWE TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great way to give the NXT women's division just a little bit more star power, especially as we're getting closer to Survivor Series. Are we going to see Survivor Series have an NXT presence in it? What's that all going to look like? So there's a lot that you can do with Jade there. Granted, everybody wants Jade on the main roster. Everybody wants Jade Charlotte, Jade Bianca. People are already calling for Jade and Bianca to be a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and I won't lie, there are good prospects for her going to the main roster.
Yeah.
There's nothing
100%.
wrong with that. But I think having her show up, immediately start a feud with Becky in NXT, right? While Becky is... Now, granted, you have Becky versus Tegan on the horizon as well, and I think they're going to put the title on Tegan. Well, if you do that, Tegan's beloved. What better way than have somebody like Jade come in and beat down on Tegan?
I mean, really and truly, if you wanted to come beat down on anyone, you do it to Nia.
So that's why, that's where the other side of the argument is, because of they've just brought Nia back,
Mm-hmm.
and they're building Nia back up to
A dominant force.
yeah, and
You have
you have the irresistible force. Insert immovable object, or vice versa.
I mean, you just have Jade come in and put her in her place.
Exactly.
You're not this dominant force you think you are. I'm going to stop you right there.
And again, I agree. Plus, you strike while the iron is hot.
Hot, hot, hot.
And right now, Jade Cargill, the name Jade Cargill, is the hottest thing in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because everybody is waiting to see where she shows up, who she interacts with first. And I'm not saying like, you need to have her debut at NXT No Mercy and have her immediately get in the program. Have her sitting in the damn crowd.
Honestly,
What a tease.
Honestly, I don't see her being NXT bound. I see her being main roster bound. But I do see them teasing her in the crowd at NXT. It's not, I wouldn't per se it'd be her debut, but more or less just the teaser that Jade's in WWE. She's here to watch whoever, she's here to watch the first pay-per-view, and then you have her debut on the main roster.
Well, so not to be a stickler. That would be her on-air debut, though. Right? You show her in the crowd watching the Becky match.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I really wouldn't call that a debut.
And again, this is where you really filter down what a debut is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have an in-ring debut.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they'll start touting it. It'll be Jade's in-ring debut. She'll have a Monday Night Raw debut or a Friday Night SmackDown debut. This would be... It's twofold.
I mean...
It's twofold. It's an NXT debut. It's also the first time she'll be seen on WWE TV as a company, as an umbrella company.
Now, what if they put her in the crowd at all 3 shows this week?
And that's where I was going to go.
And to say, what show will she debut on? Where will she debut?
So, part of me doesn't like that. Reason being, in my head, you're either putting her against Becky or you're putting her against Nia. Right? You're not putting her... Hold on. You're not putting her in front of Rhea Ripley on Raw. Asuka still has the title over on SmackDown. No, I'm sorry. Io has the title over on SmackDown. So there was a picture on Twitter. Asuka was talking about something in Japan, and the title was being put around her when Triple H gave her the new title.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it was in my head. You have Io with the title over on SmackDown, and granted, Bayley and Jade on the mic would be fun. I don't see them going that route because I think with the Io story, it's eventually going to come to a head. Io versus Bayley in some capacity. Maybe with an Io face turn.
I mean,
Dakota's out till January, February.
I was about to say, Bayley did just accept it. Well, I don't know because Bayley just accepted a 6-woman tag match for Fastlane. Damage Control versus Charlotte, Asuka, and I don't remember who.
Yeah, but you can do that match and not have Tegan get involved, not have Dakota get involved.
True.
There's a million ways around that.
I think it was a 6-woman. I don't know.
But either way, right? I see her doing NXT as a WWE debut.
Mm-hmm.
I do see her being on Raw again. Maybe just sitting in the crowd. Maybe she has a backstage segment with Becky. Right? Why were you watching my match? Just scoping out the women's division. Seeing what I'm working with here. Because again, Becky's another hot commodity. Right? And again, how you bring in Jade's really going to determine who she goes up against. You bring her in as a heel, you don't need to put her up against Rhea. Right? I don't think those two stylistically would work.
Yeah, they could work.
Heel. I think in the ring they'd be great.
No. Even heel. I think both of them could work.
Maybe.
Because you got to realize, you putting her up against Rhea Ripley, you've got the Dirty Dom effect going with it.
I'm so over that though, to an extent.
I understand that, but you got that Dirty Dom factor that can make that feud just a little bit more palatable, so to speak, and make it work as a heel versus heel.
And let me break that down a little bit more. Why I'm so over the Dirty Dom thing.
Mommy's little Dom.
All of that. Just say what you are. You guys together? Are you guys not? Like somebody said in a promo the other night. Just pick one already.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, the problem is everybody knows, that she's with Buddy.
You're right. And that's where you turn around and go, understand that this is a story. Understand at the end of the day, it's no different than insert your favorite TV show here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No different than that. That's all this is. Right? So you can do it. You can play off of these a little bit. And I think it's okay to go in that direction with it. I think it's time. I think it's needed. Got Tom Arnone chiming in. Let's go. He agrees to the poll. And our buddy Lynch is over there saying, Butters is unhinged with that mic. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I can only imagine what kind of shenanigans will end up happening now that we have these microphones. But, no, so.
But honestly, real quick to the poll, I'm going to have to disagree with it.
Okay.
I do believe she is main roster bound. As far as, strapping the Rocket to her, the Rocket's only going to go so far. It's not saying she's going to get there and then falter. I'm saying, like, they're gonna push her as hard as they can before they kind of let it peter out some before, I don't think they're going to get too big with it.
My fear, though, is they have something so good at their disposal that they are going to screw it up. I really do think
WWE. that. They've done it a million times before. What's a million and one?
No, I get that.
It's just something for us to bitch about later. You screw something up?
No, I was checking something, checking the levels. Again, I'm a little, because it's new, I'm a little like, all right, let me keep looking at it.
Keep fucking with it and it's going to break.
No. Well, there's no readout here. Like, if you look at it, there's no readout that says it's registering anything.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me we've been talking on air for...
No, because somebody would have said something.
Okay.
Right? But that's why I use StreamYard.
But then again, you got Tom agreeing to the poll. We've got Unhinged Mike.
But see here, that's why I go into the StreamYard settings, because it gives me the readouts here.
This is very, very true.
So that's why I do what I do.
But why is my mic registering 1-2 and yours is registering 4+?
Because I normally speak louder than you.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, so that's why we have the microphone.
Sorry for a technical difficulty.
No, it's not technical difficulties. It's just better understanding what we're working with here. But anyway, back to
new mics.
I
love it.
I think the problem, and it's not even a problem, it's a fear that I have with Jade getting the rocket ship strapped to her back and going to the main roster and getting involved in all these storylines, is the burnout effect. Number one. Hold on. Number one, the burnout effect. Right? Number two is if she just doesn't take, you put her in all these big things and it just doesn't take, rather than let it organically happen. We were so big on talking about it earlier this year. Jackson and I have talked about it at length in other facets, in sidebar conversations that we've had about wrestling and everything like that. The best storylines, the best characters, the best things that they've done have just all been organic. Things have organically happened.
Yep.
LA Knight being an overnight sensation was organic. Right? The bloodline with the tribal chief and everything. Roman was kind of shoved down our throat, but that was organic. The transition from him to a heel and everybody's eyes glued to the TV every week, him aligning himself with Paul Heyman, the battles he had with Jay, and then being anointed the tribal chief. That 6 to 8 weeks of TV was organic following for Roman.
The only time a fat guy like me wants something organic.
Why? Why do I even bother?
Because I'm loved by all.
Loved by something. But I digress.
But honestly, Jade, yes. As much as I want her to debut on the main roster, as much as I agree to the poll or disagree to the poll that it's not gonna, I feel like they should put her in NXT to start off, get that organic feel like you want, like you saying. You know, I can't agree to Rosca here about her winning the Women's Royal Rumble.
I mean, nobody ever pays attention to it.
I know, but still, to some people, there's probably people out there that agree to that.
Speaking of some people, I don't mean to cut you off, but waiting in the wings, ladies and gentlemen, coming at you live from his living room, from Birds of a Feather, it is the OGP. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Pete Evans.
Greetings and salutations. And I will say this, coming in hot on the hot tag, I am the pound for pound best on-air talent this program has to offer. Just saying it like that across the whole
Excuse me?
No one can out-talk me in any sport.
It might be pound for pound for something.
Sports. We could talk about dirt bikes or Tonka trucks or whatever you want to talk about.
Taco trucks?
Hold on.
Trucks?
Tonka trucks, not taco trucks.
Nah, you Texans got me beat there.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me
Yes.
that when you look at personalities like, and are you talking platform wide or just this program?
Platform. No one can talk. Well, the people who could talk as much golf as me are gone. Just saying.
Well, they're not gone.
They're not gone, but soccer, okay, I got you there. Tennis, I got you there.
Well, no, and I think that Greg and you would have a fantastic golf conversation.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm more civilized than him, so give me that.
Well, yeah, obviously. You, other than tonight, you show up on time and are prepared.
See,
you've never done a show with Greg. It's rough.
It is rough.
I do 2 shows a year with Greg, and it's miserable. But then you look at people like Tom and Chrome, and I can't even give it to Chucks. Sweeps, Wilson. You look at the entire cast of Agree to Disagree, and even the cast of HUD Wednesday night. I think you got some competition there, my dude.
Listen, I said what I said. They know where they're at. They know where I'll be.
All I heard was debate.
Oh, yeah, all day.
I will happily moderate this. We're going to put something in the wood. We're going to talk about this afterwards. But, Pete, I want to get you to weigh in on tonight's poll question.
Okay.
Sean, I see you. Pete's a little late to the party, so we want him to weigh in on the poll question. And then we're going to talk about your comments, so stick around. Pete, Jade Cargill will debut at NXT No Mercy. Agree or disagree? Tell me why.
Agree. At the end of the Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton match, and there you go. If it makes sense, if putting the strap on Becky elevated the NXT title automatically, just because it's on her, it's the only one she hasn't won. 1, 2. It gave them multiple different directions, and the time just aligned where you have Jade. So now you can introduce Jade against a main roster talent, even in a developmental stage, and that can carry over. And listen, hats off to Charlotte, hats off to Bianca, hats off to any other woman who's main event at WrestleMania. Becky's the only one who did it in the biggest stage, WrestleMania 39, against Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, and she was at the end of the night. This is before 2 nights was a thing. 35. I'm sorry, 35. I don't know what it was. 2019, right? That's where I had the 9 from.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2019. Okay, I'm old. Just give me a second.
No comment.
But no, at the end of the night on a single night WrestleMania, the first time women ever main event at WrestleMania, who was left standing? It was Becky 2 belts. That's her name. She carried the brand. So who else can you have better to go against Jade in that spot? I don't even feel like it's rushed because it's not like she's green compared to what we see out of our top in-ring performers at EO or Charlotte or Bailey. She's not there yet, but she's not that far off. She's right in the middle. I don't think she belongs down at NXT for her personality, her ring work. I think she's better than that. And I think she only needs to work with better talent on a main roster that's just going to elevate her game. That's my opinion. And No Mercy is the perfect spot to do it.
And I think you said some really interesting things there. You talked about Becky being Becky 2 belts, and Becky carried the division. And you think about the women's division, and for so long we talked about Sasha and Charlotte trading off the Raw women's title and being at the mountaintop. But if you think about it, Becky had the longer runs. Becky had the more important moments. You go back to the Invasion when she became the man, had her nose broken, and we got robbed of that Survivor Series match between, I think it was Becky Ronda, that was set up for WrestleMania 35 when all that happened. And you look at who has trailblazed the women's division in WWE, it's been Becky. I will, till the day I die. Jackson and I, years ago, when we first started doing our shows and we had our channel there, we had a segment called Superstar Spotlight. To this day, and it's the only one we ever did. We only did it on Becky Lynch. But to this day, it's still one of my favorite videos I've ever done. Because there's so much, and now I got to go back and watch it. Because we booked her out like a while, right? But to this day, I think she's done the most. I think she's been around and she's been consistent and she's been reliable and dependable. And she's always found a way to reinvent herself, right? We saw it with Big Time Bex when she turned heel, right? She saved the man as like as a face persona, and Big Time Bex became that heel persona. And you see it coming out now. She's the man again, right? You know, she still has the overlay for Big Time, but you see her more so as the man now than I do Big Time Bex. And Becky is the kind of person that can take anybody, can work with anybody, and make them look phenomenal.
Yep.
No disrespect to Tiffany Stratton whatsoever, but her working with Becky just elevated her to a higher level. Becky being in NXT will elevate all those women and make the next round of main roster talent, of main roster top tier talent. So putting Jade down there, even if it's for like a 4 or 5 week program, one, she's getting to stay at the Performance Center and work most of the week. 2, you get to slowly have her, because Becky's still going to work Mondays.
Yep.
You get to have her show up occasionally on Raw and attack Becky or get involved with Becky in some way, shape, or form. Now you're slowly exposing her to the main roster, the WWE fans, right? It's a slow rollout without something being too crazy. 3, Jade trailblazed the AEW women's division. Good, bad, or indifferent, she was the foundation. No disrespect to Britt Baker, but all eyes were on what Jade was doing with the TBS title. It didn't matter that you were the AEW women's champion. You okay over there?
I was fighting a sneeze.
No. Everybody was looking at what Jade was doing. So you put a trailblazer of one division, you take her, you bring her to this other division that just desperately needs help, needs some star power, needs some oomph. And I'm talking about the NXT women's division, right? The only variable here, and it hurts to my core because I need to see this person have their redemption story, is Tegan Knox. Right? Next week, so Tuesday night, matter of fact, Tegan fights the winner of Saturday's match for the title. And I need Tegan to have the title. So the Becky Jade thing doesn't necessarily need to be for the title. It's the perfect person to bring in. It's the perfect person to show her the ropes and help her through. Because that's the level that Becky's at now. I've done it all. I'm a Grand Slam champion.
Right.
I've done it all short of winning the Royal Rumble and a Money in the Bank. And I can only do those once a year. So the other 364 days out of the year, 363 days out of the year.
I was about to say.
I was thinking leap year.
It's still 365 every year. Fuck a leap year.
Leap year makes it 366. Stupid.
Butters, what day is the leap year day?
February
29th.
What? There was probably a chance he would have said 30th, and I would have fucking fell out.
I didn't need that. I would have hit him on air instinctively. But
blink 2 times if you need help, if you're in danger.
But there's other 363 days out of the year. Let her build. Let her teach. Let her elevate. Let her do, again, no disrespect to Natalya, but let her do what Natalya should still be doing. Natalya did it for a long while, but then Natalya stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
We're going to run a quick commercial, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about Sean Spellman's comment. He wants to get his thoughts on LA Knight, and we're going to also reference Dynasty. He says, love you, Pete, but Doc's monthly segment trumps you. Gold Jacket says it all. Comments before we go to commercial?
Well, I'm saying non-professional athletes, and I still would say I probably can talk all sports with Doc. I'm not sure if he knows about ice hockey, or he could talk about this, or he could talk about Greco-Roman.
Watch him be like just an incredible wrestling fan.
I don't need him to turn into Weapon X on me on air. Right? That's what we don't want.
But we'll be right back, guys. This is a message from our sponsor, Royal Billiards.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor, and fun. Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
And we want to thank Royal Billiards for sponsoring today's episode of In This Very Ring. So, it's a great transition with Sean Spellman, LA Knight. He wants our thoughts on it. LA Knight was revealed tonight to be John Cena's tag team partner at Fastlane in 2 weeks. First of all, thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start with Pete.
Well, it's kind of predictable, like we said. I think it's the worst kept secret in WWE in the past couple of weeks is that they wanted to do what they did tonight last week, but obviously LA Knight tested positive for COVID right before the show. Glad to see he's doing better. Glad to see no long-term effects for LA Knight. The traction that he's getting, and then I know somebody shared it in the chat today that his cereal spot has more views than The Rock coming back via SmackDown. 2 weeks ago now? 3 weeks ago?
2 to 3 weeks ago, yeah.
2 to 3 weeks ago.
And the crazy thing is it took less time for him to get that many views than The Rock's.
Where the traction that he's getting, they may have to call an audible leading into Mania. And here's my thing, right? Is he just hot right now? Or what do we do after the payoff? Right? Like how when the strap is on him or when he is the man, how can he carry it? We all know Eli Drake and Impact did all right. But here, this is a different ballgame. This is a universe. This isn't company. You know what I mean? But right now, they're pushing all the right buttons. It could, like, to me, that could have been anyone else but him. And you know what you're going to get out of this. You're going to get Survivor Series where you're probably going to see a team of Cena, LA Knight, and then 2 other people. Maybe AJ Styles, he's back by then, and then a 4th versus Jimmy, Solo, Roman, and a 4th person. So you're going to get out of this, and you could do Roman Knight. I said this like 3 weeks ago. I said if I'm at Royal Rumble, who I want Roman defending the title against is LA Knight. I said that. I think I said that during The Rock when we talked about The Rock. So this is all roads to lead to that.
And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. I think LA Knight at the Rumble, dare I say, LA Knight win. Right? It's tough. It's really tough. You put LA Knight on the same show as Roman Reigns. You didn't put Cody Rhodes over there. I think Cody's going. I still don't know who SmackDown got in the trade.
I think they got Cody. It's just I think they got to get time to kind of finish up some storylines and getting rocking and rolling on that side of the fence.
I think it's laziness. If anything else, I think it's just laziness on WWE's part. I think they're waiting to pull the trigger on something that's going to be dumb. But my point being, though, you would have to swap. There's a part of me that says you have to swap LA Knight and Cody.
I can see that.
Let LA go after Seth or Nakamura or that title, because you can't. You've booked yourself into a corner with Cody.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that they booked themselves into a corner with Cody because how much they talk about finish the story, or do you think they did enough? Because to me, I don't think they did enough with Roman and Cody to draw out another match, but ultimately to finish the story part. So I'm in agreement with you there.
With Cody saying on Monday night, we're not in the 3rd inning anymore.
Okay.
And WWE's social tagging Paul Heyman. You're already laying the groundwork again. You're already telling me Cody looks at Seth's title and goes, "That's a great consolation prize, my dude. I don't want that."
Right.
I want the big boy title.
Yeah. And LA Knight,
he hasn't had nothing.
He hasn't said anything about anybody. And I think LA Knight, Seth Rollins on the microphone would be great. I think it would be incredible stuff. But I also think that
LA Knight wins the Rumble and takes on the world champion.
See, I don't hate that.
I don't hate that either.
I think that's safe. I think that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dynasty here says it's smart. He's Roman's Rumble opponent, so he's not in the Rumble.
But you could go Butter's route too, which is not bad.
No, it's not.
It moves him to Raw without trade compensation.
Yeah.
You know, you still got move Cody over for their trade compensation. LA wins the Rumble. I'm challenging Seth. I win it. I'm on Raw now. We don't have to worry about, the BS back and forth trade compensation. We don't have to worry about, whether.
But you could do that and get Cody still to SmackDown without having to involve LA Knight now.
Well, let me see if I understand this correctly, because I think the word trade compensation got thrown around a lot, so I think you lost me a minute. You're saying, let me make sure I'm clear on this.
Yes.
You're saying Cody's a trade compensation for Jay.
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight wins the Rumble and is able to just say, "Screw you, I want your title."
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought.
Like it was in 04 with 03, 04, Benoit and all that,
Right. Well, even Batista too.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. And to Pete's point, it is a great way to get LA Knight over to Raw, not having to deal with trades, anything like that. Cody over to SmackDown, wrapping up that low-hanging fruit that Adam Pearce put out there, that SmackDown was going to get trade compensation, without really drawing attention to, oh, we fucked up. And I don't even think it's this is one of those times where you're like, I'm not mad that WWE, quote-unquote, booked themselves into a corner.
And I mean, honestly and truly, who do you really have on the Raw side of things other than Cody.
Well, we're not even there yet.
No, I'm just saying to challenge Seth after Seth Nakamura is done. Who do you truly have?
Well, you can't forget Senior Money in the Bank too. So there's a lot of, and also we were doing all this talking. You forget Dwayne is out there. He sounds like he's locked in. So I don't know what you do with that at that point. We said this 3 weeks ago. Like, bro, like Cody may be the odd man out. It may not be the time to do this now for him. He may have to wait again.
Or screw it. You just have Cody as Roman's Rumble opponent, and that just sets up Rock Roman. No title needed.
It doesn't. I'm with that too.
This way, you can just have Cody in the main event at Rumble with whoever the hell you want.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been saying it. I've been saying it since Roman won the title. Roman Rock doesn't need the damn title.
And then I will give you kudos too, Rich, because I've been the one kind of preaching that Cody winning has to be at Mania. And then now the more and more the things are starting to line and fall into place, necessarily doesn't have to be.
Yeah. So
it doesn't have to be.
So what you do is you just go Roman Cody at Rumble, and LA Knight wins and challenges the World Heavyweight Champion at Mania. Now Rock and Roman can go do their thing. Cody's got his. He has completed the story. Now he just needs to defend it at Mania, and then you have LA Knight go on and win the World Heavyweight Championship, and everybody in their blessed dog is fucking happy at this point.
Well, all right. So let's so back to Sean Stone. I definitely think in the next 6 months, LA Knight will have some type of one of the world titles. And once again, I think we can see a point where, all right, maybe night one is Damian Priest, World Heavyweight Champion, versus LA Knight. You can get that at the same time. Yeah. And I will say this one thing about LA Knight. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but his BFT, his finisher, the blunt force trauma, he's starting to spin you around because it's usually back to his front. And he spins you around and then goes into the move. It looks a lot cleaner that way versus the previous way he was doing it, because the spin with the momentum and then he hits you with it is almost kind of RKO-esque now a little bit. And the sell and the fineness of it, of the move. If you go back and you look at the first Miz match that he had, I think it was at a Premium Live event, and you go look at the match he had a couple of weeks ago, and how he hit that finisher. To me, it still looks weak. I think the finisher itself looks weak. I don't know how.
Sorry, I noticed a couple of things, so I was messaging Ralphie to get a couple things squared away.
Not allowed.
No, I'll explain later. So you're saying the blunt force
trauma.
Blunt force trauma looks weak?
Yes.
No. Oh, I thought you were saying.
It looks better now because he's like, it's usually, if I'm LA Knight, this is the miss. He's spinning you, and then as you turn around, it's like it's a BFT out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So with the momentum, it looks a lot cleaner, but still, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Well, and I think it's just a tough move in general, right? Like it's not a super pretty move.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm actually gonna pull up I haven't BFT LA Knight.
The blunt force trauma.
This is from like
a
month ago. Just because I want to see what Pete's talking about from. Come on, let's go. All right, here we go. I hate these long intros. All right, so the kick. So it's like a weird cutter stunner. Right. It depends on how the people take it, right? Like I'm watching where Rick Boogs and some of these guys take it. It's a mix between a stunner and almost like a skull crushing finale.
Right. Now, see if you can find one from like the Miz match 2 weeks ago.
Let's see. I mean, there's even a comment on this video. This is the most conflicting finisher. Sometimes it looks awesome. Other times it looks bad.
Yes.
And it's not wrong. All right, yeah, there it is. It's the one with where he's fighting Butch. He spins him around.
Yes, but it looks cleaner that way.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And that's like the little nuances. It's like, okay, like somebody got in his ear, like, hey, start doing it like this, because it makes it feel more sudden. Because if he kicks you in the stomach, he has to grab you grab your head, lift you up, then bring you back down. When he spins you, it's like, oh shit, I'm spinning around, and I can just go into it. It's more free flowing.
Well, and I'm watching tonight's segment here where he comes in and saves Cena. He wrestles like The Rock when he throws his punches, right? And that jumping cutter he just hit on Solo. It very like Rock. Like you see that the influence he gets from The Rock. You see the influence that he gets from Austin, from all these people, you know. And he just, he hit. My God, the elbow. This is The Rock. If you don't put LA Knight against the Rock at some point, their styles are identical, and it's crazy.
And see, that's where like all the heat that I don't know if it's heat, but the controversy around it with him and Kevin Nash, and what Kevin Nash is saying, he's not wrong, but I don't think the IWC and the universe cares. You know, it's blatant. Like we get the leather vest, Stone Cold.
No, I don't care, because Kevin Nash is just being a whiny little bitch at this point.
Well, I just think he wants. He was in a day where you had to use. There was no foundation that you could take from like that. And here's the other thing: with LA Knight, and what shocks me is use what you need to use to get over. This dude isn't young. Like he's my age, so he's been in the game for a while. So for someone he's not that far removed from an Austin. Like he's only Rock is 52, 53. So he's like maybe 10, 11 years younger than them. So I guess you can see it.
But here's what LA did that I think is so smart. You know, we're all superhero fans and everything like that. LA Knight's almost like the Super Skrull.
Okay.
He took the best. He took the best parts of the best talents, and made it work. Like you look at what you see with The Rock, and just something as simple as how he throws a punch.
Yep.
The wide stance.
He reaches back like
coming
this
from back here, and it almost looks like he's opening his palm, like The Rock was.
Yep.
Instead of a spine buster, he hits a power slam. Does the LA Knight, hits one rope and jumps 15 feet in the air for an elbow. There's the people's elbow. The leather jacket, the mannerisms as he talks.
His walk. Go look
his
at him.
walk.
Yep.
It's Austin. Right? Some of The Rock shows up in how he talks and how he references himself and everything like that. Right? But is just what? It's all it is.
But like that's what I'm saying, like we don't care. Like it. It's entertaining.
We like what we see, so just give it up.
Yeah, Nash won't stop talking about it because what happens? It gives him listens, it gives him clicks.
Right. But then you can't be mad at somebody like Nash.
Right.
For saying, like, you say Nash is a whiny little bitch.
He's got that old school mentality.
Right. So, one, Nash, you did exactly what Kevin wants you to do. You acknowledged him, and so did you.
Yep.
You both did exactly what the man wanted him to do. I swear to God, I don't even think about it. Like, I see these I say old timers, right? I see these stars of yesteryear. The guys that came up in the 80s and the 90s, more specifically, moaning and bitching about the stars of today. Guys, it's because of you that they're like this.
Yep. It's because of you and your life and what debilitating injuries that you have why they don't juice no more. And I will never call Kevin Nash a whiny little bitch because when WWE was down in the dumps in the mid-90s, they literally did shows for 2 weekends in a row at my fucking high school when Diesel was the champion. No lie, hand to God. And I went to get a hot dog. I turned around and Nash, like I'm probably a little shorter than I am now, not tall by any means. Turned around, I'm literally at Kevin Nash's waist, looking up. Like he's just in, and I'm never calling that man a whiny little bitch. I don't give a shit how great his hair is.
I ain't
Or how
scared.
bad his quads are.
I called Brock a bitch. I ain't scared. I'll say it to either one of their face.
Just kick him in the
Either
head.
when you do.
Well, you know what? He just had his hip replaced, so don't kick him in the head.
But either way, right?
Yes, you can be there when
we're getting off topic because we still have to talk about No Mercy and AEW WrestleDream. And this is what the people wanted to talk about, so I'm great talking about it. I do want to get those.
It's Wrestle Nightmare. That's what it is.
It really is.
But what the people want, we give them.
So Dynasty says conspiracy theory here. You don't think Hunter is feeding him shit to bury LA Knight to really get him over? No. Dynasty, you're a really smart individual. I expect better from you.
Shot.
I'm sorry. I expect better. But LA Knight he literally did what you absolutely should have done. As somebody coming up, and realistically, Eli Drake is not something I would ever have written home about.
No.
He came to a company and he said, "Who's the two best people in your company?" Austin and Rock. Cool. I'm gonna be what it would be if Austin and Rock had some weird cloned love child. Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
All right, so let's get into NXT No Mercy. So here, before we do that, we'll transition again. We'll pay more bills because I like doing that here.
Me lucky the Bills. Me lucky the Bills.
Hey, it's fun.
And I'm not talking about the Buffalo Bills either.
I have things for running. I have things.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
We want to thank Hats.com. In 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Dawk designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Bowman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker, on Hats.com. Brian's love of hats and the Eagles were on proud display in Canton, and now you too can find yourself in that same iconic Hall of Fame fedora. Just go to Hats.com and search Brian Dawkins. Use the promo code Philly for 15% off your order. That's Hats.com, promo code Philly, and we thank them for sponsoring this preview and prediction segment. So
that's new. Okay.
What?
The preview and prediction segment. I like it.
It sounded good.
Sounded very good.
So, 7 matches on the card. Only 1 match on the pre-show. It's Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan. Don't care.
Did they really need a pre-show?
Well, you got to put something on the pre-show. People have.
You don't have Dana Brooke anymore, so
there are psychopaths that get to the
Damn, Pete.
that get to the arena and sit down as soon as doors open. You got to do something to entertain them. Because I've been there. I've been at shows where, it just so happens you get there like 5-10 minutes after doors. It's a long, boring hour if nothing's going on.
We did that with Rumble.
And it was a long. Well, I had food. I was content. I had a sweet.
so primitive.
I had a.
I was content where I was content.
Well, it was your first big show. I've been to WrestleManias, man. I was in a suite with a buffet and a fully stocked bar with a butler. I was content.
This man would be near the buffet.
It was a good buffet. Was it really made?
Expect anything different?
All right, so Noam Dar with Goofball 1, Goofball 2, and Goofball 3 versus Butch with Tyler Bate in a British Round Rules match for the NXT Heritage Cup. All right, so here's the British Round Rules. Matches consist of 6 3-minute rounds with 20-second breaks between each round. Matches are 2 out of 3 falls. Falls can be won by pinfall, submission, or countout. Once a fall occurs, the round ends. The match ends once a wrestler has won 2 falls. In the event of a disqualification or knockout, the match instantly ends without the need for 2 falls. If all 6 rounds are completed, whoever is ahead on falls wins the match. What?
They've had this for the Heritage Cup for a long time.
Yes. I mean, I understand the rules. I don't know why they're throwing the part about British in it now when you've been defending it on U.S. soil for the last 4 months.
But reading this is so convoluted. And I guess because I've never paid attention to the Heritage Cup because it's silly to me.
Really and truly, it just needs to be a fucking title and not a cup.
I'm cool with that. But, all right. Did it hurt anybody else's brain when I read it aloud?
It really just sounds like best 2 out of 3 falls. That's what it is. Because if you win 2 falls,
they're just trying to make point of the fact that the Heritage Cup is a British thing, and they're just trying to put the British heritage, so to speak, behind it.
If this is how the British wrestle, no wonder they're all confused.
But not even just that. This is like the equivalent of what they used to do in ROH, where it was the pure champion, where they shake hands before and after.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah. They get way too crazy with, even if you say the 6 rounds, but the rounds are only 5 minutes. So it's just like that's way.
And then how short. Like if you're doing 2 out of 3 falls.
Well, I said that because if you have 2 pinfalls, you win. The other rounds don't fucking matter.
Right? Yeah. How do you get to 6 rounds though? Like there's no mathematical way.
So you would have to literally get 1 win each, and then the rounds just come to time.
Time.
They're 5-minute rounds.
Do you know how pissed off I would be?
I think they've actually had an NXT UK, like they had a Heritage Cup match go to like the scorecard.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think they've had 1 or 2 do that.
Either way, Noam Dar or Butch.
Noam Dar. I actually like Noam Dar.
I think Noam Dar retains this.
I like Noam Dar. I think the people with him, it doesn't make any sense. It's literally like the Island of Misfit Toys all got together, hung out, and said, ooh, shiny.
They're just his cheerleaders. Fuck it.
I want to see Butch win. I think it's high time that they do something with him. You're kind of teasing Butch and Tyler Bate. You know, it's a callback to the early NXT UK.
I want them to go back to Pete Dunne. That's what I want.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Give me Pete.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate were a great tag team. Shut up. Pete Dunne and anybody else want to interrupt?
I'm done.
Talk over me? No, we're good. Awesome. Pete Dunne and Tyler.
And then there was.
Floor's yours.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help that one. Go ahead. I couldn't help it. My bad.
You done?
Yeah.
Butch and Tyler Bate were a great tag team, and I think it's time. You're not really doing a lot with the Brawling Brutes. You kind of run that course. It's okay for Pete Dunne to come down here, Butch to come down here and do some stuff with Tyler Bate.
And I think Sheamus is injured right now.
I do think so too.
Yeah, he has a pretty bad shoulder injury. So, but like, what would if you go back to Pete Dunne, Ridge would just flounder. He would be the next round of cuts whenever it happened.
No,
he's the male Nia Jax. I mean, let's be honest.
1, yes.
Damn.
2, the Brawling Brutes and everything works when Sheamus is okay. You could still take Ridge Holland. Pete Dunne can drag him along, and he can be kind of like just a big guy on the outside. Because NXT has a lot of trios, right? Or a lot of factions. It's okay to have that other person, right? The stars are Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, right? Pete Dunne, goes, well, I'm going to call myself Pete Dunne again, but you're still my boy. Come on, right? Almost like, come on, you little lost puppy. Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. On a scale of 1 to don't give a fuck, how do you feel?
About a 9.
Pete.
Repeat the question.
Braun Breaker, Baron Corbin. On a scale of 1 to don't give a fuck, how do you feel?
I'm right in the middle. It intrigues me because I'm higher on Corbin than most, but I don't get where we're going with him and Breaker. I thought is who's face, who's heel.
I don't think either one's either.
And so I'm okay with stories that don't define who's heel, who's face.
I think this is more ego versus ego.
And I don't mind that. And here's the only thing that they've done right this entire story was Tuesday night.
The parking lot beatdown, or
the parking lot beatdown, the beatdown in Sean's office. Which, by the way, did anybody else catch? Go back and watch the clip. They bust through the wall into Sean's office. There's very clearly a closed door, but yet people come from behind Sean to break this up.
No.
Guys, and the door stays closed the whole time.
Now, so I didn't catch that part of NXT. So when I read it, it said Corbin beat Breaker down on a car,
in the car,
and then speared him or something into the car.
I don't remember. I've slept since then.
I'll keep talking. I'll start looking
because I read it and and then they said Breaker just popped, like he popped back up, like he ate all that and got back up and continued to fight, and they ended up in Sean's office.
I remember at one point when I'm watching it, they're in the car, but the car door is open, as if one got either thrown, pushed, speared something in the car, in the passenger seat of the front. So I'm again not 100% sure. I just saw them. A little bit of the parking lot brawl.
Okay.
Oh, I'm pulling this up.
I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind seeing this because again, I feel like at the end of the day, it's ego versus ego. These two have put on a pretty good match.
You know what's going to happen, right?
I think hold on.
It's going to be a non-finish.
I have this queued up here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Braun throws Baron into the car. This quarter panel immediately dents with Corbin's shoulder. Braun throws a couple punches. Baron gets an elbow in. Baron goes to get in the car. Braun gets in the car. Same door, like they're fighting in the door. Baron's in there. Braun's get pulled out. Starts yelling at him. They're kind of teeing this up. Baron's leaning on the car door. There goes Braun, and he spears directly into the door. Baron moves out of the way, and he hits the door. Door kind of bends back a little bit, and all that jazz. By the way, what kind of car is that?
It was a nice car when they first had it.
It's an SUV of some kind. That ain't a Toyota. But anyway, so that's that section. Hi, Wilson.
What up, Wilson?
Oh, Wilson, are you still here? Whoa, is Wilson still here?
He's got to be if he just dropped.
Yeah, but some people drop their comment and dip, right? I mean, there are some nights I do that. I drop a comment and I'm out.
Oh, Mr. Wilson.
We'll see if Wilson's still here. I have something to say to him. But my point being here, what they did Tuesday night was great. Ego versus ego. I think it's an okay storyline for Braun because Braun's in a weird little limbo state, right? Right, like we don't know what he's doing. We don't know what he exists as. So is Corbin. Corbin's just kind of existing on the NXT roster. Putting these two together
is doing a bad job, though.
No, he's not. Neither one of them is. I think Braun is still less interesting than Vanilla Extract.
I think he could lose the fucking tan.
That doesn't bother me. His appearance is fine. It's the character. It's the character development and what he stands for. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what his motivation is. I don't know what his logic behind doing things are.
I don't think they even know because I think they're lost right now.
Motherfucker. That's what I mean by limbo.
He can't limbo at any point at any stage, so he doesn't know what it means.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
There's no reference.
Fair enough. But point being,
my fat ass limo's here. It's gonna quake after I fall.
Also, yes. but to carry on my point there, right?
Yeah.
I think this is good for both. I think you can take
Agreed.
this somewhere after the fact. I just don't care who wins.
I don't think there is going to be a winner.
Really?
I think the person who had his head cracked on the steps comes back and ruins the match for everybody. And then you get a triple threat at the next PLE
Oh, that's right.
in 3 weeks at
Who had his head
NXT.
cracked?
Names on the tip of the tongue.
Von Wagner. Jesus.
Yes.
That's right. I forgot it was on the steps.
Right. So, I mean,
or
he
this
just
is
has
the
beef for
match.
both.
This is the match that never really starts and somehow ends the night. They're still fighting as it goes off the air. Every so often, the camera just cuts to them.
Oh,
So you think you're saying Corbin versus Breaker main events PLE tomorrow?
No.
So
you're saying they come out and then they never get in the ring, they're fighting, and then the show
they
goes
fight,
on.
They fight. Yeah, the show goes on.
Okay.
It cuts randomly throughout. They're fighting on the concourse. They're fighting here. They're fighting there. They're fighting outside for all we care.
Piper versus Goldust WrestleMania. I mean,
Pretty much. And then after the Mello Dragunov match, they're still brawling out to the ring, right? Out on the outside. And that's how it goes off the air. I think that makes it a little bit more entertaining.
I think we'll get into it.
Dirty Dom versus Trick Williams for the NXT North American Championship. Dragon Lee will serve as a special guest referee.
I don't know how they're going to pull this off because Trick just physically is probably the best body in NXT. Best look as far as he reminds me almost of Booker T, like a young, like a
I can see that. And he came up through reality wrestling.
Yeah, so but he just needs it. But I mean, Dom's winning. I don't know how it's going to happen, but you can't
so you maybe just take out the ref. Maybe just take out the special guest referee.
But Dragon Lee was at Smackdown tonight too.
I think Dragon Lee's the variable here. Dragon Lee doesn't want Trick to have the title.
Right.
Now remember, and keep this in mind, right? They are having to call a massive audible because Ali got released last week.
Now, but before that, he asked for his release and it was granted.
Yeah, but that was like a few years ago.
No, I saw something I even saw that he did it a couple times, but I thought that he asked for it again now and they granted it when he was actually released. Or was this a complete shot? Because I saw that they had plans for him going into 2024.
Yeah, that part I'd seen, but also he'd only asked for his release once. They never gave it to him. They just wanted him to ride his contract out. And then all of a sudden they got something big for him here in NXT, rock and roll with it. And then now you've got Sean pissed because they had all these big plans for him. And I think he was pissed about the whole Dana Brooke situation too.
Well, and I know they had the plans for Ali, right? Ali did ask for his release a couple of times over the course of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I think Ali, when he went to NXT and they kind of laid things out, Ali was like, okay, cool. No, I'm good with this. I can rock with this, right? But because he had still asked for his release and never went back to... He was dealing with NXT staff, right? He's not dealing with main roster staff. He's not dealing with talent relations. He's not dealing with so-and-so. I think because he didn't go back and be like, hey, I'm good. This is where I want to be, is why they released it.
I mean, you would think they would at least ask him first. Fuck.
No, fuck you. You don't want to be here. Bye.
Well, and with the publicly, just to answer Ryan Soap's question from earlier, yes, Ryan, the UFC and WWE have formed on the public sector as a company, TKO Holdings. I think a lot of that had to do. There's a lot of maneuverability to where they have to create a more grand picture of presence, uniformity. So, got to cut the weight where you can. I mean, but that I think that's a loss because Ali actually, if you go look at Ali, when they used to do the tournament that they used to have, but then also 205 Live to look at
that Cruiserweight Classic?
Yeah, Cruiserweight Classic. From that to what his body and how he filled out now, it was almost, dare I say, like Eddie Guerrero-esque, not as big. But it was almost to where you can, like, he was a believable where he could almost carry a big belt. Because he had built his body out that far.
I think that was where they were eventually going with this. Personally, one of two things is going to happen. Probably three things is going to happen here. One, Dragon Lee is going to cost somebody the match.
Uh-huh.
Two, Rhea Ripley is going to get involved in some capacity. Three, JD McDonough.
I can see that.
Involved.
I can see that.
But I still think Trick walks out. I think it's time.
Trick all day long.
And I think it'd be cool to see Trick and Carmelo, even if it's just for a little bit.
Right.
See them both have gold. Have that moment in the back where Melo's like, "You did this, man."
No, to be quite honest, I don't think that moment's going to happen. If Trick does win, I honestly think they're going to continue this whole Trick being ignored by Carmelo.
You are a real pessimistic son bitch.
But I've also been watching NXT, thank God.
Your point?
I mean, Carmelo's been ignoring Trick.
No, I know that. And
so I feel like
that's the one aspect I actually like this Carmelo Trick storyline.
I think that's going to continue. He's going to try to bring up the fact that I won gold, but then again, Carmelo's just going to be like, I'm too focused on my match, and Trick's just going to.
I don't know, man, because the thing with Dom right now is because Raw is essentially built around Seth, Knock, and the Judgment Day, and the presence visually with all of them having gold, and now Dom doesn't. You know what I mean? Like the North American Championship has been built up because it's been around.
But they don't all have gold.
Who doesn't have gold?
JD McDonough. JD's running with them.
He's not.
He's not a part of the Judgment
But
Day.
hold on, I don't care what you say, because here's what's surfacing, right? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, right? Everything's surfacing right now. JD McDonough, Dom, Damian, Finn. That's a War Games team.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, Sammy, Jay, Cody. That's your other War Games team. If War Games does Survivor Series again this year. Right? So
who's the other five?
The other four. Cody, Kevin, Sammy, Jay.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, JD doesn't have gold.
I mean, but you're talking a month, 6 weeks away.
You're right. But you got...
Why JD? Why not put Rhea in that match?
Because too much shit can go wrong. She can legit
the reasons why are just astonishing.
But
Number one, she is the women's world heavyweight champion.
And
there is no shot they're not going to have a women's world heavyweight title match at the PLE.
That's what they got SmackDown women's title for.
Shut up. Also, there is no shot that you're going to do a War Games match. If it was like a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match, which still could very well happen, and then Rhea is in the match, okay, I'll give it to you, right? Because then the women fight the women, blah, blah, blah. When they're not fighting, they're on the ring apron. Okay. This publicly traded company that just did a merger with another publicly traded company that just signed a new TV deal on massive network television
for a Billy
is not going to have a guy beat up on a woman.
Now who's being pessimistic?
He looks so sad.
I'm not being pessimistic. No, by no means whatsoever. I'm being a realist to the situation that is at hand, right? If it's a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match, fine, sure. Right. Bring it on. Put her in there. I'm good. But when you look at all other factors, that's why that doesn't work with the War Games. Would I hate it if they put her in there anyway? No, because that means Rhea's finally going to get her comeuppance for attacking all the dudes. It's bound to happen.
Yep.
Right? In that style of match, is that where she gets her comeuppance? No. To Pete's point, there are too many. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There are too many variables.
Oh, yeah.
To where, one, she can get injured.
Yep.
A lot easier than a regular match. Two, you can bring down her value as a wrestler.
The visual of how long she has to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It just doesn't work right.
No, and also, and I think JD actually gets accepted that night. I think he's not a full-fledged member, almost like similar to what we had last year with Sammy.
I was about to say, so we're gonna have the Bloodline 2.0 just with the Judgment Day.
Yeah, but it still works. If it works, we literally just got down sitting here saying about LA Knight. We're looking at him take shit from two all-timers, and we're not upset. So why?
And I don't think it's LA.
It's not exactly the same.
It's not the same because there was a lot more hesitation on accepting accepting Sami Zayn as an honorary Uso versus JD McDonough's real. Like, it was squashed in a week that he's really here to help us or not.
Yeah.
Right? He's a t-shirt away from being a member of the Judgment Day.
And he doesn't get any credit. Like, what the whole bloodline is Sammy trying to, at least he was around. Like, even now, when the Judgment Day was celebrating, when Raw went on after their match this past night on Monday night, they're all celebrating the ring. They got their arms up. This bitch visually, he has his arms up on the outside. He's not even in the ring with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's helping unassisted. They're not even asking him to do it. And then he does it. He doesn't get any acknowledgement whatsoever.
All right, now the family versus OTM versus the Creed brothers versus Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza for the NXT Tag Team Championships.
I want to see Creed or Los Lotharios. I
want to see Los Lotharios winning.
Are they legit related?
Huh?
Are they legit related?
I do believe so. I think they're cousins.
Okay.
Either they're. I do.
He's the real life cousin of Angel Garza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Creed brothers all day.
Yeah, it has to be one of them too. It has to be one of them too.
They're coming back from being gone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
They're riding that kind of high. I think it just fits. I think it's
the
time
tribute to their uncle. You know, I agree with you. It fits.
Everything just fits here. I think it's the right play. It's a good way for them to win the match without hurting the family. Because I think the family is at a peak right now.
Yep.
The Creed brothers are at a peak right now. OTM can take the L. And I just don't think anybody cares.
I mean, they're like they're inexperienced Harlem Heat. You know what I mean?
Great point.
They wrestle stiff, very aggressive, nothing flashy. Like Doom. I mean, it's very stereotypical. I'm using black tag teams, but it is what it is. You know, I mean, bitches.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Two big some bitches that used to play football that didn't work out, and now they're trying to make a name for themselves.
All right, Mello, Dragunov, NXT Championship.
Dragunov wins it thanks to interference from Trick.
Interesting play.
I can see them putting it on Dragunov. I don't want them to, but I'm thinking to myself, who's next for Mello to face after this? He did break her twice. You know what I mean? There is some doubt because he kind of had Trick's help because Dragunov torpedoed himself into the title. It is what it is. But at the same time, I can see Dragunov coming on. They need something. I think they need something similar to a Money in the Bank or something like that. They really do.
I don't disagree with that.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I want Melo to win, but I have a sneaky feeling they're going to take it off of him.
If Melo loses, though, main roster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Main roster.
No disrespect to the Trick Williams storyline, but if Melo loses because of Trick, and then he goes into a program with Trick, again, no disrespect to Trick,
right?
He's going backwards.
Yep. And
unfortunately, Melo is somebody right now with you put him backwards, you're gonna lose him. The fans aren't going to care. You're going to lose that momentum that he has to go to the main roster to get involved up there. Now, that very same sentence, you put him on the main roster right now, there ain't shit for him to do.
Nope, not yet.
So I think as far as NXT No Mercy goes, I think Melo retains.
Okay.
Do I think that that's how he loses his title eventually down the road? Kinda. I could see Trick being the one taking it off of him.
Yeah.
I could 100% if Trick wins, especially if Trick wins Saturday night, and he is champion, 100% see down the road, Trick drops the title, goes after Melo, beats Melo. Melo goes to the main roster.
The other thing that we can say is, do we get a hooded figure that causes Melo the title?
Who's in the hooded figure?
Wesley.
Man.
He cleaned out his locker. Ain't been heard from since.
Title hunt.
Man was past his he was past his breaking point.
Call it what you will, right? I was big on Wesley as the NXT North American champion. He dropped the title and went after Melo. I lost all interest in him.
Match was cool, but no believability. Like I see Donnie say Dijak. Dijak has been losing left and right. That's not a believable challenger.
Trick was one of the guys sent to the Eagles preseason game for the Mania release.
Yes.
Could I see that happen? Yes. Here's the other thing that we haven't brought up. The vignette from Tuesday night.
I don't see that happening Saturday because I think they're going to keep doing these vignettes for a little while and then do a big debut for him.
I think if you debuting tomorrow.
Here's why I think it's tomorrow.
You debuted tomorrow, that vignette really didn't mean shit to me.
Yes, it did.
Where's the paper? Where's it at?
Hold on. What was the very last clip in that vignette? It's in California.
Okay.
It was the very last clip in that vignette.
WCW Nitro?
No. Welcome, everyone, to WCW Saturday Night.
I didn't even catch that. Good catch.
If you don't, it's a horrendous missed opportunity.
Well, where would you debut him at?
At the end of this match. There's your next competitor. Screw everything we just said about Trick, about Wes, about all of that. Melo wins. Brian Pillman Jr. Either attacks him from behind or just shows the fuck up.
I think if he just shows up and he's just staring at Melo, that plays. But he has to get physical. He could premiere on whatever route they go. If they take it off of Melo and they put it on Ilja, if Ilja went to attack Ilja, attack.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Have to.
Yeah.
Have to. But if it's Melo, then it's give me a share of that.
Especially if he wins it.
Yeah.
And is still beating down on Melo.
Yeah.
Because now you've built Brian Pillman as a baby face.
I definitely think he's not a face.
I don't either. I don't either. But in that moment, right, that's the only way that works.
That's why he floundered in AEW, because they wouldn't any tapping into the loose cannon character.
Right. But I think that's the only way, at least for that moment. He gets the pop in that moment. Right? You want to turn him heel Tuesday? Great, turn him heel Tuesday. Right? But in that moment, he has to attack him.
Okay.
All right. So let's transition off of that. Woo! Let's go back to thanking Alan Z Travel. Alan Z Travel specializes in creative vacation your dreams at Disney Universal or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Alan Z on over to alanz-travel.com/take the trip. We can start planning your next stress-free magical vacation as early as tonight. And we thank them for sponsoring not only the show, but this WrestleDream preview and predictions.
You see Phil so salty about that.
Because this is stupid.
We give the fans what they want week after week.
No. I'm okay with that. Okay with that. But this specifically is stupid.
It's
the pay-per-view?
Yes.
It's an Inoki tribute show.
Where's it at? Is this in Seattle?
Yeah. Bite me. I'm all for doing tribute shows.
Or a tribute pay-per-view.
You don't need to dedicate an entire pay-per-view to Antonio Inoki. You don't. I'm sorry. Or rephrase that. Not when Antonio Inoki did nothing with your company other than, what, did he walk out for the first Forbidden Door, right? He walked out on stage and shook Tony's hand?
I think so.
Don't get me wrong. Is Antonio Inoki one of the greatest wrestlers to come out of New Japan Pro Wrestling? And
well, he created New Japan Pro
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
My point.
Right.
That was my second point, right? And the founder of it and all that. Yeah, fine. Great. There he is. Chrome says, just popping in and say, what's up, boys? Jade's going right to the main roster.
She can still do that and have a confrontation with Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. We go back and rewatch it. We broke that down. But to do this, what are you? 4 weeks out of All In and All Out. When you're not known for doing monthly pay-per-views like this,
I think that's what they're trying to go for now.
you have 12 matches on the card.
Fuck me.
2 of those matches are... Hold on. Get this shit. 2 of those matches are your pre-show. 1 of those pre-show matches is for the World Trios Championship where you put in the Acclaim.
Wow. Why would you even announce that's the pre-show match?
To try to pull in people? Because it's the Acclaimed?
But why? When you have... the other one is Luchasaurus versus Nick Wayne.
Squash.
It's just silly, right? This is where you've put too much on the card.
Always. Who are they defending the trios titles against?
TMDK. I've never heard of these schmoes.
Maybe that's why it's on a pre-show?
Maybe. Shane Hast, Mickey Nicholas.
Oh, you know what? I think that
Bad Dude Tito.
I want to say they won a Battle Royal on Rampage a few weeks back to become #1 contender.
Looks like they're New Japan guys.
I was about to say most of this pay-per-view feels like Forbidden Door all over
Shane
again.
Hast used to be Shane Thorne.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was also Slapjack in Retribution. So I'm not even going to talk about those. I don't care. I don't care about the pre-show matches. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland.
Did you catch the promo Wednesday night?
You know I didn't. And even if I did catch Dynamite, you know I didn't watch anything with Hangman Adam Page. You know
they ended Dynamite with that and with the contract. So I'm like, you're doing a contract signing, non-title related, and you're ending Dynamite.
And that's a pretty good promo.
And you know I paid less attention if Swerve Strickland's involved.
You know, so you're not. I will say this: Swerve better win. That's all. That promo that they cut on Dynamite, and they brought up the fact that he has aspirations to be the first Black AEW champion.
Yeah,
and they acknowledged it. He better win.
I'm cool with that.
No, it was a great promo. Swerve should win this one.
I think Swerve should win it just because I think Hangman Adam Page sucks.
Damn.
He was a teacher. He should have went back to teaching, bro.
And the problem is Swerve, I don't think, has gotten a good break anywhere. No. Right? They had something with Swerve in Our Glory, and then they totally screwed that up.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, they should have just had Keith Lee lean into the heel. It would have been better for both of them.
Yeah, it would have been better, absolutely better for both of them. So they absolutely screwed that pooch. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. This right here, I'm not gonna lie, is one of the reasons why I'm seriously considering going to the theater to watch this damn show if it's in the theater.
That is, I will say this: that and New Japan TV title is the ugliest title. One of the ugliest titles I've ever seen.
Which one?
The New Japan TV title. It's hideous. Hideous.
I'm pulling it up right now. I'm not super familiar with it. Oh God, that's atrocious.
Oh dear Jesus!
It looks like a big ring.
Yep.
It looks like a giant rectangle.
It looks like a TV.
Rectangle.
It looks like an old school TV.
I wonder, do you think sometimes before you open your mouth? Like, does anything process upstairs, or do you just open?
Well, I think the hamster's too fat to run the wheel.
No comment. None at all. But that alone, like that match alone, it's almost worth the price of the pay-per-view. Let me phrase that. On paper, it's almost worth the price of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, if you just want to watch wrestling at its finest, yes. But wrestling at its finest should not have to spend $50 to watch.
And I won't. If I can't find if it's not in a theater close to me, I ain't watching it.
But even the theater tickets, what, $25?
Worth it though.
Okay.
Half the price is worth it.
But it is at that point, right? I can at least justify spending $25 because if I'm not spending $25 on the wrestling, right, I'm gonna go blow $25 on something else and not be happy.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Not be happy.
At least with, hold on. But at least with like Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. and some of the other matches we're gonna talk about, I can walk away and go, that was good. The rest of it sucked, but that was good.
Seems like every AEW pay-per-view we've watched.
I walk away saying, that match was good. My God, did that suck?
Yep.
Because you look at, they have almost every title on the line. Right? Almost every title on the line, and none of them are going to change hands.
Yeah, I mean, somehow magically, MJF is going to single-handedly beat the Righteous.
100%.
How? I have no idea.
100% he is.
And Adam Cole he can't fucking stay healthy. I
think that's a swerve.
You think the whole ankle thing is a swerve?
Somebody posted on Twitter.
Yes.
And I think he saw the same post I did. I don't remember who posted it. But could you imagine if it was a swerve?
Oh, I would love it. It was. Remember, I texted in the chat. I was like, "Is he legit hurt?"
How many components would have gone into making this a swerve? Britt Baker's post, her Twitter post about it, the promo Wednesday night. I can't say though, oh, they did a promo to work because fucking Tony Khan will walk out and go, we fired CM Punk. At 5:32 this afternoon, I had a meeting about what color tie I should wear. I mean, like, my Christ.
My Christ? Wow.
Yeah, my Christ.
But I think this is probably the biggest swerve of AEW.
If they pull it off.
And they have to do it now because, once again, he's been very clear in saying, I am a free agent as of January 1st, 2024. Outside of this, if you do have that swerve, we all expect, what is it, Full Gear?
Yeah.
Where he won the title?
Because look at
Adam
some of
Cole
the facts.
versus MJF.
Look at some of the facts.
Oh, this should be good. Butters claims he has facts.
You have Adam Cole and MJF teaming up, which Adam's getting MJF to wrestle more. He's had MJF wrestle two times in one night. Now he's gotten MJF to wrestle in a handicap match to keep the tag titles after a supposed ankle injury. And then you have this angle with the devil at the end of the night.
Which, by the way, might have been the greatest true ending to Dynamite, like the last scene in a long while. The contract signing part was stupid, but cutting to that
and all this stuff with Roddy going on and him just magically, I gotta go because it's Roddy. I mean, the swerve is coming.
Well, did anybody else catch when they're in the locker room area, the devil mask was in Adam's locker?
No.
Boys, pay the fuck attention, gentlemen.
I think I read something about it, but I didn't see it.
Guys.
I did see a picture, though, somebody put up of one of the attackers looked like they had a neck brace on underneath all the garb.
Now I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it.
But people are like, there's
Here, I'm just going to send this to you.
There's 5 people attacking. Who all could it be? Well, Adam Cole, Roddy, the Two Kingdom, and then who?
Check your phone, Pete.
I mean, you can get Kyle, you can get, anybody. But I honestly think this is a swerve. I mean, how do we
I'm researching Butters' facts now.
What? That MJF is wrestling more? He had to wrestle 2 nights or 2 times in one night. Now he's doing a 2-on-1 handicap match for the ROH tag team titles. I mean, and then again, one of the mysterious attackers, looking like he's wearing a neck brace, boys and girls.
I don't know. It would be.
I know it's hard to tell, but.
See, and just to add to that, I'm looking at something from Ringside News, giving them a free plug. He said the word, this is yesterday, the word within AEW is that he's legitimately injured and scheduled for surgery and will be out for quite some time. There was some optimism that he had suffered just an ankle sprain. However, that was not the situation.
You can really feed these stupid sites along with Meltzer,
bad
information.
Well, Meltzer's also just a dumb fuck.
Did Fightful report it? Did Sean Rapp report it? Because that's one of the.
But I'm looking at I'm watching the attack on.
Whatever you sent me is not working.
All right, I'll send you something.
Never mind. It is.
I'm watching back the beatdown on Jay White. I don't see the neck brace.
Okay.
The only thing I could probably say.
It was the guy on the far left, I think.
Right. The only thing I could say is, if anything, it almost looks like the devil's wearing the neck brace because he's got the turtleneck on. So he's trying to cover up, everything.
Right.
They all have turtlenecks. It all just looks like they're wearing, a couple different layers of clothing.
Right. And that
guy's body type.
And next week you had them come out, Jay Webb, like, oh, that's what you do. You jump me from the back, and MJF could be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, What are you talking? Like that wasn't me. And then you can have you can have what I call them righteous. You can have the Kingdom, Roddy, then all of them just kind of play it off. Because how many was it? 4 or 3?
4 guys attacking, and
4.
then the devil walks in. And I guarantee you that picture with the devil mask behind Adam gets thrown up in MJF's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is in Adam Cole's locker.
Because they've been willing to win it at all costs. Like, I mean, look how they choked out Samoa Joe last week.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like a huge swerve is coming, and it's not going to be seen.
FTR versus Aussie Open.
I think Aussie Open's taking this one. I think FTR's time on the titles is done.
I wouldn't hate it. I'm not a big Aussie Open fan. Not that I don't like them.
Right.
Right. I'm just a very, very big FTR fan. So they're one of the few tag teams, few talents where I don't like to see them lose just in general.
I don't want to see Aussie Open win. I want them to revisit because I don't know how it happened, but I'll tell you this. The Guns have probably the best intro in AEW, song-wise. I love that music. No song. Non-verbal intro. And they fucking look great. I want to see them run it back and them get the win over FTR. I would love that. Me personally.
So hold on. I guess it's important. Like, we got to look at the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for a future AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Who's in that match?
The Bucks, the Guns, the Lucha Bros, and Orange Cassidy and Hook. There's a fucking weird-ass team.
Well, I think Orange Cassidy and Hook, they kind of gave that rub this past Dynamite when...
That was the best interview ever.
Not that in the ring where they did the run-in. I forget who it was. It was Cassidy was in the match. It was like a 4-way match for some dumb shit. And it was Matt Jackson that was in the match. I forget who won the match. But Nick Jackson had ran down, and Hook and Nick Jackson had like a stare off.
No, I just mean like it's just you have 3 very decorated, decorated, well-seasoned tag teams, and then a kid that doesn't talk, and a guy who does the bare minimum.
So you said it was Bucks, Guns, Lucha Brothers?
Yeah.
I thought wasn't Phoenix supposed to be defending the title against Nick Jackson at some point? Is that happened on Dynamite or some shit?
Maybe that's a Dynamite match.
Might be a Collision thing too.
Or Collision, one of the fucking shows.
The sad part is I feel like the just put together tag team is winning this shit because it seems like that's how it goes with Tony every fucking time.
I don't know if I hate that though.
Right. Because you need to. Everybody else is already elevated, so them winning is elevating them.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I would prefer the Guns. But that's just me. Out of those tag teams, I would just prefer the Guns.
And that would put you right where you want to be. The Guns, the Guns running it back with FTR. If
That's
FTR
why
retains.
I brought this up.
Oh, my bad.
I literally said, hey, if you're going to go down that route, we should talk about this match. Fuck.
A dick.
Chris Jericho and the Golden Elite versus the Don Callis family.
I love Jericho.
Please just hang. I'm so glad they separated him and Sammy. I couldn't be happier because I think it finally let Sammy stand on his own. But then you took Sammy and you paired him with what arguably might be the most punchable face in professional wrestling, and dare I say, the world. And there are people like Vince Russo that exist in this world too.
Jim Cornette.
I would never hit Jim Cornette. That man's a legend.
This is true. I would the same.
No, but you'd still look at Brock Lesnar and call him a baby back bitch.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, you got your priorities.
You just like punishment. That's what that is.
You got your priorities in real order.
Give me Brock any day. Baby back bitch. I'll say it to his face.
I'm telling you, dude, I will pay good money. I will fly Pete to wherever we need to be to see this happen.
You going to Canada to go make it happen. You're not getting back in the country, not in one piece.
Oh no, I'll get back in the country.
He won't.
This motherfucker ain't leaving the forest. But
I think the Don Callis family's taking this one with Sammy winning, pinning Jericho.
You can't have Omega lose another match against the Don Callis family, though.
Again, I repeat myself.
Shit.
Sammy pinning Jericho.
No, and I understand that. You're still fucking stupid because guess who still loses? Omega loses to the Don Callis family, you stupid motherfucker.
I get that.
Again, I repeat myself. Omega can't lose against the Don Callis family again.
Yeah, you can. It's Kenny freaking Omega.
But no, that only goes for so long at a certain point. Because you can't tell me that Don Callis is able to build this faction that can continuously... Don Callis can't do anything right. Because Don Callis would do something right, this motherfucker would still be working in Impact.
I think he liked the money on the AEW side.
I hate everything attached to Don Callis. Even though I like Sammy Guevara. I just want to see them all lose. And then I want to see Omega hit Don Callis with a V-trigger and a one-winged angel. And maybe another V-trigger just for good measure. What do you think, Pete?
I don't get Takeshita. We said this before. Sammy turning on Chris was the right thing. Wish he was standing on his own. To me, he doesn't fit even more with Callis because he really doesn't need someone to talk for him. But yeah, I mean, Jericho and Omega. That's how it should go.
Exactly. Christian Cage defends the TNT Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match against Darby Allin.
Darby.
I don't know why.
I don't like. I get what Christian's doing in AEW.
Right.
This whole storyline with the TNT Championship is weird. Has been weird. Eddie Kingston versus Shibata for the ROH World Championship and Strong Openweight Championship because Kingston holds both, I think.
Yes.
Shibata.
Kingston.
Eddie Kingston's another one I just can't get behind. Right? Like what drives me up a wall so much is I understand it's the character to a sense. But just the blatant walkout, like from his walkout, right? He just it's almost like a run to the ring, right? Gets in the ring. There's no story being told through your match, right? It's just it all feels very sloppy. It feels like one guy's trying to fight you in the back of an alley, and the other guy's actually trying to wrestle you. And that just never works.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, and honestly, I may change it because I think, especially where, if people don't know how Kingston, how he views TK, and TK takes care of his boys.
I mean, to Dynasty's point right here, TK likes to keep the titles on people for a hot minute. So, I mean, he just got this.
I definitely disagree with that. That bitch has been known to play hot potato. Look at what he just did with the AEW Women's title. She'd have took it off of Tony. She'd have had to
qualify.
She had to qualify for her own fucking title. And then 2 weeks later, she fucking lost it to Sarai. And look at the tag titles. You took the tag titles off of Lucha and Jungle Boy with they claimed, I believe.
But the tag titles have been passed around.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So they've been passed around. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, Swerve in Our Glory. Then you did tag titles from Swerve in Our Glory to the Guns just to put them on FTR. Like he'll do it. He just don't do it with the title. Yeah.
Right? With the bigger titles, the big title, yeah, he keeps him on him for a minute. I'll give you that, right? But Tony is.
I guess I just feel like every pay-per-view, nothing changes.
You're absolutely right. Every pay-per-view, nothing changes. They wait to do it on a random Wednesday or a random Saturday when no one's paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Darby would become a 3-time champ if he won. He'd be the first 3-time champ. Because that's what Dynasty's saying right here in this comment here.
3-time champ.
Darby is what? 3-time champ? I think he's a 2-time. He'd become a 3-time. But the other side to that coin as well, Kingston just signed a renewal. So to Pete's comment, TK likes to take care of the people that are loyal to TK.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that could be the thing. But again, it just feels like I can't get past the lack of character. Hold on. The lack of character, the lack of seemingly care. Like, it doesn't come off as this is his character that he just wants to go out and wrestle and fight.
Right.
And all that. It comes off as, wow, dude, you really don't give a shit about anybody. About the fans, about nothing. Like, you get in, you do your job, and you get out. There's a small part of the work ethic side of me that respects the hell out of that.
Yep.
But as a wrestling fan, you get your ass back in that ring for another 10 minutes. You sit in the chair and you don't move.
To me, if this was just for the strong title, Kingston loses all day.
Yeah.
Every day. Now that since it's for both titles, ain't gonna happen, Captain.
Is it Shibata the pure champion? Or doesn't he have an ROH title himself?
No, I don't think so. I think doesn't Yuta have the pure?
Hold on.
I think he took the pure off of Yuta.
He is the current pure champion.
Okay.
Yeah. But his title's not on the line.
No. It's both of Eddie's are on the line.
Yeah, then Eddie's definitely winning because you're not gonna have somebody have fucking 3 titles.
That's what
You want to bet?
we're not gonna have Omega all over again.
Or Bobby or Angle. I can keep going. The Dudleys.
Well, Dudleys are different. They're one of the, if not the greatest tag team of all time.
Doesn't matter. FTR.
True.
But
at the end of the day, Eddie's winning it. Both titles are on the line, in my opinion.
Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart for the TBS Championship.
Julia.
I was about to say,
Julia.
I can see Julia taking it all day
I
long.
want Julia to take it.
Agreed.
Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Yuta, sorry.
Starks.
Starks.
Yeah, Starks.
I am such a Ricky Starks fan, which is astonishing because I can't stand Austin Theory and they're almost the same person.
So screwed.
But that's the point. He's gotten his ass handed to him. Not even wrestling, just in booking.
Yep.
And there's a part of me that just wants him to win.
Yep.
MJF versus the Righteous.
MJF retained.
MJF. All right, now that we're done with that nightmare, we got about 6 minutes left because I want to stop this at 2 hours. So, Pete, Eagles, Washington.
Birds.
Duh.
The Birds.
Spread is 7.5, 8.5. They should cover the spread, but if it's a tricky thing for survivor pools out there, but this is a pretty confident bet for survivor pools. Even though I think the Commanders just only put up 3 points in their last game last Sunday, but no, sometimes it's just a hat on a hat. The man is better than the other man across from you, and this is that situation.
Thoughts on DeAndre Swift?
Love him. You see his daddy? His daddy could have been a wrestler of shit.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. His dad is swole, man. Like, he's short, but That's where he grew up in the gym. He was, I don't know if he was a boxer or something, but his dad's pretty solid. And his dad's like 50 some odd years old.
Fair enough. The Dolphins.
Crazy, man. Fastest team. It's just speed. It's the Flash, bro. It's speed all over the field, man.
Does it worry you?
Mm-hmm.
We know that Kansas City's coming up at week 11.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dolphins are week 7. If I have my schedule down correct, I'm really impressed. I'm doing this off the dome. Does it worry you going into week 7, where this team could potentially be 6-0 because they've got Washington, somebody in the middle, and then I think Washington again.
They have Washington this week. Next week they got the Rams. That's week 5, and then they may have the Commanders again in week 6.
They do, because we don't see the Giants till the last. So out of the last 3 weeks of the year, it's Giants, somebody, then Giants.
Okay. Yeah, then because you got them, it's Miami, Philly, week 7 in Philly. That's Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
My Super Bowl was Miami Eagles. Okay. So I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, but at the same time.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Rams, Jets, Dolphins, then Commanders.
Okay. So yeah, they could realistically roll into that game 6-0, yes. And I would be concerned because that you just don't see speed like that across the field.
Cowboys falling apart, losing to the Cardinals.
Expected. Expected. Everybody's going to have a stumble. They just have more stumbles than most. And it sucks because what Dak was saying is kind of true. Like he said, y'all built us up on this pedestal, so when we fall, you can knock us down even more because you guys have shown that's the track record.
Yeah. Well, anybody else have anything running wise? Other than, by the way, I absolutely think Eagles this Sunday. I think it's going to be a first divisional game.
I've been noticing it, Butters. You better keep wearing that hat until you wear it until we lose.
It's our first divisional game of the season. I think it's going to be really telling to see how they do against other NFC East teams. And I think it really will solidify. The Commanders aren't anything to write home about, right? But I think it'll really solidify how the rest of the season is going to play out as we gear up for a pretty tough schedule ahead.
Yep. Yeah, because after this month, it gets pretty
it gets aggressive.
It's tough on paper. You don't know what kind of outlet they're going to have injury-wise.
I was about to say, you don't know anything about possible injuries coming up.
Well, I mean, so it goes Commanders week 4. Week 5 is the Rams. 6 is Jets. 7 is Dolphins. And then 8 is Commanders. And that's out of October.
Mm-hmm.
The 5th is the Cowboys. They're on a bye the following week. Then you got the Chiefs, the Bills, the Niners, the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. That's the end of November, right?
That's the end of November, first week of December.
Yep, that's the test.
Absolutely is the test. So coming up next week, guys, it's going to be Fastlane preview. It's going to be recap of WrestleDream and NXT No Mercy. These guys are going to do the following show I'm not on. These guys are going to be doing Fastlane breakdowns because I'll be in Disney, and then I'll be back the week after doing God knows what with you guys, getting ready for some other probably live event or something like that. Who knows?
Okay.
So, what?
No.
So we want to thank our sponsor, Royal Billiards. Check out Royal Billiards and Recreation, the coolest place for all your game room and man cave needs. For the last 41 years, this family-owned business has been the premier game store of the Delaware Valley. Stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, and dart supplies. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Stop by Royal Billiard, located at 515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania, or on the web at royalbilliard.com for everything fun for your home or office. We also want to thank Hats.com. Back in 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Doc designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Boltman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker, on Hats.com. You can search Brian Dawkins and use promo code Philly for 15% off your order. We also want to thank Alan Z Travel. Alan Z Travel specializes in creating vacation of your dreams at Disney Universal, wherever your heart calls you. Use the link alanz-travel.com/take the trip. We will see you guys next week. Until then, peace, love, and joy. For Pete Butters, I'm Ritz. We are out of here.